Tigers bounce back and snap their 3-game losing streak against Vanderbilt. We'll break it down on the Hannycast.
The Hannycast, a weekly LSU football film study with Charles Hannigriff and former LSU tight end Richard Dickson. Now to break down the Tiger tape, here's Charles and Richard.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Hannycast. I'm Charles Hannigriff along with Richard Dickson. Thank you for joining us this week, and thank you for all the new subscribers that we picked up in the last week. So tell a friend, hit subscribe, hit like. We'll try and do a good job for you here, telling you the hows and whys of what happened with LSU football. And this past weekend, Richard, LSU desperately needed something to go right. Yeah. It was a 3-game losing streak over 4 weeks. They suffered a big blow in recruiting with the loss of Underwood last week, Bryce Underwood. And, boy, going into this game, you really felt like something good needed to happen. And right off the bat, you fall behind 7-0. You're deep in your own territory. You've given up a big play, and things could have spiraled in a hurry, but they didn't. LSU turned it around. They tied the game. They took control and played, I thought, a pretty good ball game considering the circumstances, and got themselves back in the win column.
Yeah, I mean, this was a game about guys going out there and fighting. You had 5 weeks of just sorrow in this program. With the bye week, 3 straight losses. It had been a while since they'd felt anything positive going on. Then you have the news with losing Bryce Underwood on Thursday. But this was a game about just getting back to it. These guys finding a way to win. And I think, for me, Josh Williams amplified that this week. I mean, he fought his butt off, did everything he could, and really, to me, played his best game.
Leadership. We talked about leadership from Brian Kelly, but also from the players. They had a players-only meeting last week. I got to be honest with you. From a media standpoint, I just sort of, let this kind of news go by because they're fairly commonplace now. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's up to the players. And there's no way to tell if you're not in that room. You've been in a couple of players-only meetings. What they're like?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's really hard to tell. Each one's different. 90% of player-only meetings were called by the coaches. Somebody was told to call a players-only meeting, and it kind of gets trickled down through the leaders, and they pick the guys who they want to talk. But it's about the guys that they pick and how they talk. And when those guys get up in front of the team, and either they're a true leader where everybody respects them, listens to them, and can be motivated by them, or it's just some of them preaching coaches speak. But this is one where I really feel like the guys fought together, put out the message that they want to go out there and get things going back the right way. And it looks like they did.
Coaches calling the players-only meeting. That's priceless. All right, things didn't get off to a good start. Let's start there. This is Vanderbilt's first offensive play from scrimmage. This is from the LSU, from their own 37-yard line, and this is another bust.
This was when I poured my second drink at the camp this weekend.
Yeah.
It was right about here. And
Rub it in, why don't you?
Thank goodness that I wasn't here. But look, it's a simple mistake. They're going to run max coverage. They respect the rush that we get, and this is one where Gilbert really bites on the play fake, doesn't get back over the top. Man, he's wide open.
So when I say bust, this is not necessarily a coverage bust. He just bit on the fake.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to have help over the top, and this is something I guess, we've kind of beat up on Gilbert a little bit on his run fits, getting down there, making a tackle, and he overemphasized it here. He wanted to make sure that he didn't get leaked out, but when he steps down, 14 thinks he's got help over the top, and he wasn't there.
All right, so where is Gilbert trying to help in the okay, let's first of all, let's set the alignment here. Gilbert is responsible. They're
showing 2 right here.
I was going to say this is cover 2.
They're going to show 2 right here, but then they're going to get a motion back. Somebody's going to carry a man, and then Sage and Gilbert pass it off. So you see him pass. Gilbert goes to take the flat, or Sage goes to take the flat, and Gilbert drops back. But he never gets enough depth. He stays too shallow, and then he stays up an extra step once they fake the handoff. And he never has the speed to get back there and get back over the top.
Does he think he's responsible for deep middle here? Because he turns towards the inside.
Everything I'm looking at right here shows he's responsible for deep middle, but I think he kept his eyes in the backfield a little bit longer and then just stutter-stepped and realized he panicked to get back.
So that's how this got started. And it was against the max protect. So Pavia had plenty of time. And I'm sorry, we've just seen – the safety play at times has just really let them down.
Yeah, I mean, we've struggled with safety play the last couple of years. It's something that we definitely got to get better at. It's like, he's trying to improve in the run game, so he tries to stay more focused in the fits, and he gets beat in the pass game. He's got to, just play his game and understand his reads and fits.
Now, the good news is that was the low water mark for LSU in this game. The one bust, misassign, whatever you want to call it, that they had, puts them down 7-0. After that, things got a lot better. So LSU, after the kickoff, gets let me take a step back. Let me slow down here. You got a face mask on the conversion.
Yeah.
So you got a kickoff from the 50. So there's a squib kick, and Trades Green gets blocked right back into Josh Williams. So they got to start this drive at the 10. So everything that could have gone wrong in the first 4 minutes
everything
of this thing,
we feared happening going into this game started that way.
All right, let's get to some better news here. This is a 2nd down and 7 from the Vanderbilt 34-yard line. Richard, they did a good job of getting the backs involved in the pass game. Josh Williams in particular had a nice night. He had 4 catches. This was the first one, and it goes down to the Vanderbilt 20.
Yeah, and you heard Brian Kelly talk about it, the problems they've had, especially with their intermediate passing game and a lot of the things that they've been really successful this year. Guys are playing so soft on them. They're dropping back. They're playing zone. They're eliminating the crossing routes. And if the linebackers can continue to carry the slot receivers deep, that's when you got to hit the drop off passes and make them pay for it.
Let's watch this from the side view first. Nussmeier checking out of something here.
It looks like he checked to another play, got everybody on the same page. So this is one that I thought maybe if he has a little bit more time, he could hit Aaron Anderson on the dig breaking across the middle. But he took what was there, and he didn't allow the sack, got rid of the ball. Look, he was still getting pressure.
We'll watch this, and we'll watch the wide view if we can see what he sees as he's directing traffic here.
I'm not sure if they got the play in late again, and guys were trying to get lined up. He's getting the play, making the call, and getting people lined up on the original play. 'Cause I didn't see anything that he saw that made him want to check.
He was certainly looking down the field first, and you've got a 6-man protection there, and and Williams was there for blitz pickup, and he ends up leaking out of the backfield. All right, let's take a look here.
They're going to show too high right here, and to me, it's like hit play again. Just let him kind of play out a little bit. So they have a play called, and he just starts motioning to get him back over here. So he is checking to a different play, obviously. Not sure what his checks are, but it was communicated. He gets everybody lined up. You see Aaron Anderson kind of get shoved off his route right here. And this is where I think he wanted to hit him on the deep dig, but when he gets shoved off right here, it kind of messes up the timing and makes him come back to his check down.
Lacey's covered in the middle of the field, so this is a nice check down. And what should have
just a great effort.
Yeah.
Run that back real quick because, look, when he catches that ball, you're not thinking – he's got 2 guys sitting on it.
He's at the 35-yard line when he catches a football,
yeah,
which would have been a loss if he goes down right there. Now,
if you see where Anderson is, the timing of it got knocked off because he got shoved off his route. I think that was the primary where we wanted to hit him coming across the middle. But once he got shoved off, he drops it down here. And this is just great effort. And this is, what we're talking about, a guy showing up, making plays. A lot of his runs and catches throughout the game weren't necessarily that it was wide open for him. He just fought.
We're brought to you by Marucci Sports, MarucciSports.com. Register now at one of the new Hitters Houses. New Hitters House on Airline Drive in Metairie, 1801 Airline Drive in Metairie. The Hitters House here in Baton Rouge on Segan Lane, 5801 Segan Lane. Members get 24/7 access to the members-only cages and bullpen cage reservation opportunities. A 15% discount at the retail store. Lots of great Christmas gifts in there. Plus, all of the Marucci aluminum and composite bats are available at the Hitters House. Marucci is founded and operated by current and former big leaguers, so this is great equipment. The #1 bat maker in the nation, plus training bats, tees, baseball, softballs, helmets, bat accessories, glove care, and the world-famous bats, all at MarucciSports.com. All right, let's continue with the Josh Williams highlights. This is a 1st down and 10. In fact, this is the very next play, and Williams takes it in for the touchdown.
Yeah, and this is one you're going to see from the wide side. You don't realize how tough a run this was. This is a play that could have easily been stopped for no gain. But, man, he played his butt off tonight and made a lot of things happen that, are crazy. I mean, you're going to see this from the tight view. He's got 3 guys surrounding him, and for him to just keep fighting and powering through his legs makes a great 20-yard touchdown.
It's one thing when you call a players-only meeting. It's another thing when you go out and play like this. Okay, he should be stopped here.
He should be stopped right there. And that's one you're going to get if you run it back. I think it's Chester. They got to stay on their blocks. You guys get beat off the edge real quick. But if you watch him right here, you can get 70 up there. 79 just misses. He doesn't really get a hold of him. But you get 3 guys on his legs. He keeps churning his legs and makes a big play happen.
Catch the wide view here. Really nice run by Josh Williams. One,
There's
two,
three guys bouncing
four,
up.
Basically four missed tackles.
To bust a 20-yard run. I mean, that's just great effort. I mean, he showed up tonight.
I thought the first drive was the most important one. If they don't answer right there, this could have gotten hairy.
Oh yeah, because you punted on the very first drive, right?
3 and out, and with a penalty. I mean, all of the
everything bad happening.
Everything
you get the deep shot for the touchdown, and then you get blown up on the kick. It started very negative. You had to get something going in that drive.
Okay, this next play we're going to show you is something that LSU's had a problem with before, and this is basically an option for the quarterback, Pavia. And Savion Jones comes up and plays the mesh point exactly how you want him to play.
He plays it perfectly. I mean, this is what we talked about in the Alabamas, especially in the second half against A&M. You got to make these guys make a decision to make it quick. And the way he attacks his mesh point, he kind of fools Pavia. He plays both of them and comes off on the quarterback. He really does a great job.
Let's watch it here. Jones, the defensive end on the near side.
I think you said this in the previous game. Just go after the quarterback, attack the quarterback, make him hand it off. And this is one where he does just that.
Okay, and I'm also watching Greg Penn here because it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, if he does hand it away, Penn's in decent position to make a play here.
Oh, yeah, you got Keys playing it with inside leverage. He takes it with his left hand, keeps him out. Penn's playing back up there. They had this covered for the backs.
This is assignment football. The end's got the quarterback. The linebackers got the
played.
Pit, yeah.
What we've said the whole time is like when you play in these situations, you have to do your job. Don't worry about anybody else's job. And it looks like they did it.
Much better than what we saw against Alabama and A&M. All right, this next play is a pass from Garrett Nussmeier to Mason Taylor. This carries for 24 yards into Vanderbilt territory, and Nussmeier saw significant pressure on this play.
Yeah, it's one that, if you hit it in route in stride, Mason Taylor's wide open. He runs a little slot fade right here that they cross. When you see this from the wide view, you really wish he got it off on time, and he probably scores a touchdown. But, Nussmeier does a great job evading the tackle and finding his guy down the field.
Let's watch it from the side view first. 5 receivers in the formation.
So you see what we did a lot with Malik Neighbors.
So explain tell me the significance of starting Williams out here in the bunch formation and then bringing him back.
They're going to show coverage. Is it man? Is it zone? If he's lined up in the bunch, somebody's going to move out there to cheat to make sure he's on him. When he goes back there, he slides back in. So you know that there's some type of man coverage being matched on the side. Which goes to our next point. When he's running the slot fade, getting on the outside, you see the gap he's in. He's wide open. He's got the whole field to go. But because he had to avoid the pressure, he wasn't able to get the ball off on time.
We'll see this better from the wide view here, but let's catch the close view first.
And this is something that, Emory just gets beat. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy, he gets beat with a speed rush. He panics. He can't catch up to him. He has to turn his whole body. And that's something that he's got to work on with his drop step, his kickbacks. You can't get beat that clean on a speed rush.
All right, now we get a better look at the coverage here. I'm going to pause it here when Williams comes back to the formation. Now what does Nussmeier see?
Right now, they're still showing cover 2 right now. There's a lot of communication about, when the back came back, they're communicating on who's covering who's going to match up. But everything he's looking at right now is cover 2.
All right, let's watch Taylor on the route here and where
he was. So then they shift to cover 1 right here. He plays down.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what I'm saying, when he goes to cover 1 and you got a slot fade, this is what you want to throw it again. You're going to have the cornerback dropping with him. You see where he's sitting on the flat route. Mason Taylor has this whole field. And this is where I'm saying if Emory just runs the guy wide and allows Nussmeier to sit there in a controlled pocket and hit him, this is a touchdown all day long. But because he gets thrown off rhythm, he has to escape, find it, and then Mason Taylor has to work back towards the ball.
Ooh. That guy right there waving his hand all by himself. Defensive back is at the 40. He is 12 yards.
This is one where you're saying you hit this in stride. It's another big play. Everybody's asking where are the big plays at. Well, because of the speed rush, and he gets off rhythm and has to avoid to the right.
And Taylor's got to come back to the ball and kind of wait on it a little bit. Still a very nice play, carried for 24 yards on on that one. We're brought to you by Dependable Storage with 8 locations across Louisiana and 1 in Gulfport, Mississippi. New facilities in Slidell and Youngsville, Louisiana. They'll match any competitor's pricing, convenient online rentals and payments, and free use of the moving truck when you have new rental move-ins. Clean, secure, and conveniently located facilities. Check out the website at dependablestorage.com for locations, pricing, and rentals. Like Skip Burtman always said, Dependable Storage, we want your stuff. This next play there were 2 bad defensive plays in this game for LSU. The first one that we showed you on the long pass, this was the one run. Diego Pavia ended up with 43 yards rushing on the night. 36 of them were on this play. So this is another one where LSU gets a little bit fooled on the play. There wasn't a lot of this, but we're going to show you the 2 that got there.
These are the plays that have really killed us in 2 of our 4 losses. These quarterbacks getting out down the field.
All right, this is a 3rd down and 1, and they're pinned. You're hoping to keep Vanderbilt pinned on their side of the field here. This is down at the LSU 13-yard line.
And this is when you're talking about situational awareness. Understand what they're trying to get done. Understand, go back to do your job. Everybody understand, attack the mesh point. You got the quarterback, you got the running back. Everybody do your job. This is one where Gilbert just gets bit a little bit more on the run fake and really never sees that Pavia pulled the ball until he's hitting the sideline.
Let's watch it from the side view. Who's Swinson got?
So Swinson took the running back. He came screaming off the edge, and I'm not sure if that's his job. One of them's got to stay contained. I would expect just by the formation.
All right, let's watch this from the tight view here.
If I'm watching the tight view right here and Swinson's crashing on the running back, you got to have Gilbert feed off the outside. He's got to have this guy right here, but he pokes his head inside to try to help out on the run play. And look, he's going to make the tackle on the running back as Pavia's coming around the sideline.
There's a wide view.
So, you fit it together kind of like a puzzle piece. When you watch everybody crash down, Gilbert's got to take contain right here. And you see him start that way, but as it looks to bounce inside, he's trying to put an extra hat in there and trying to do too much what we say that everybody's trying to, be a security blanket on the run game. But he's still sliding in, and you watch him, he still does not realize who has the ball. He keeps falling in, and he leaves open a wide open
You can see
lane.
the hole.
Yeah, he should be fitting right up there off of
the
Swinson.
holes from the hash to the numbers. I mean, it's a pretty big hole.
Drive
Rich.
whatever you want through there.
Whew.
But, when we're talking about just effort, he didn't quit on the play. I mean, he chases it back down and keeps it going from any further.
Pavia was still healthy. He might have scored on that one.
Yeah, that's one that he looked like he wasn't the guy playing earlier this season.
Well, this is the 11th play in Dayton. He's got a lot of miles on the odometer. He's had a great year.
It made a lot of sense in this game when you start seeing put in the backup quarterback for a lot of the run plays. It's something that shows you that, his body doesn't have it all there.
One of the things that has been evident in the last 2 weeks is more of a run-pass balance for LSU, and we see another example of the improvement in the run game. This is Josh Williams, 21 yards for a touchdown. This is a 1st and 10 from the Vanderbilt 21. This is late in the first half.
Yeah, this is a very well-blocked play, and, look, we've talked about Paul Mubanga a lot in this game in this season, but he's gotten a lot better. If you watch the block right here, he seals his guy off, uses his big arms, throws him to the side, and really creates that hole. You get a good kick out by Mason Taylor. Mubanga seals it off, and it's just a well-blocked play.
That's not an easy block, what he does here, to turn that guy back inside.
He uses his strength. I mean, this is something you talk about. Watch him turn the guy.
Yeah, turning the guy, that's hard.
That's hard. I mean, that's something that a good guard's got to do. You got to use that guy's weight against him, get him moving in when he's coming to crash on you, throw his body weight the other direction, and just to get the big cutoff. It's good to see improvement because I've seen him miss some of these blocks in the previous week.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea behind this is that if the defensive end comes up the field, he's supposed to kick him out.
If he comes up,
but if he crashes in, he's got to see that, and then he's got to try to turn him with his weight. That's a good play by Mubanga.
Yeah, it's him realizing, he's 3 or 4 weeks into playing now, understanding what's happening, and, learning on the run, understanding you got to react to how the defender plays it and understand how to use his body against him.
You can't kick that guy out. I want to go back to the short view here. If I think 3 weeks ago he tries to kick this guy out. Yeah. And if he tries to kick this guy out, you're not going to do anything other than force Williams to bounce this thing outside
100%.
And give him a chance to. And so okay.
We've showed
progress.
We've showed that play 10 times
where
it doesn't work and the running back had to bounce it out. That's done correctly.
That's real progress. That's terrific to see off of the freshman lineman there. That's a really nice play. All right, we're going to move forward here a little bit. This is into the third quarter now, the late portion of the third quarter. This is Diego Pavia. The pass is incomplete. This is really good coverage by LSU, plus they got good pressure from the linebacker.
You get to see them communicating. Everybody's pointing. Everybody's on the same page. They're looking around, making sure they all got the same call. We talked about a couple weeks ago when you had half the defense running one thing, the other half running it. Weeks is signaling. You got Swinson signaling it. Gilbert signaling it. 14. The communication is just great. Everybody's on the same page. They're throwing out the same signals, making sure everybody's keyed up, and then you get weeks to pressure them.
All right, I want to look at this.
The communication is what I love to see. Just everybody communicating, everybody making sure they're on the same page.
When we get to the wide view, I'm going to ask you what we're seeing here and what they're adjusting to. We'll get you let you look at the shortcut first, and then we'll come back and watch this from the wide angle. All right, as soon as they start to move. All right. What is Weeks doing here?
So you get in the back, run across, so they're not in man at this point, and they're trying to communicate who's covering who, what the drops are, what the calls are. Once he goes in motion, the play has changed. They got to make sure everybody stays on the same page. You see them all giving the same signals, and you see Burns come up to cover him on the outside.
Swinson started inside and then double back outside, but Weeks was the one that provided the pressure.
Swinson probably wasn't supposed to go back outside. Typically when you go inside, the linebacker keeps outside contained, but he's just trying to make a play. And once they realize it's a pass situation, he's just trying to get off his block.
We're brought to you by Lake Urgent Care. With 25 years of experience, Lake Urgent Care are dedicated to providing quality care close to home. They treat minor illnesses and injuries for ages 3 months and up at 17 convenient locations in Baton Rouge, Hammond, Livingston, and Ascension Parish. Plus, they offer occupational health and weight loss solutions. A seamless extension of Our Lady of the Lake. Patients can access care from anywhere with the MyChart patient portal. Our urgent care centers are open 7 days a week. During the holidays, kids are home from school. Get a little bobo, get a little something. Head on over to Lake Urgent Care. Walk in, check in online, or schedule a virtual care visit at lakeurgentcare.com. This play is Garrett Nussmeier complete to Aaron Anderson. This is a short gain, Richard, but I got a feeling that you put this one in, that they picked up the blitz and was able to get a good screen call off on
You've been asking for screens. We're starting to see a little bit more lately, these outside screens, and you're really going to see this is a well-timed play. I wish Pimpton really gets his block. A little bit of, just not understanding the situation. They were blitzing. It gets him late to the block, but they get a great call into it. When you see it from the wide view, this could have been a touchdown. I mean, if Pimpton gets his guy, this is everything you're asked for. You're going to get two guys, a corner blitz, a safety blitz. It's 2-on-2. If Pimpton gets his block right there, Anderson's probably bumping his head on the goalpost.
Kelly calls this an extension of the run game here.
It's which these bubble screens are. I mean, when I played with Jimbo Fisher, every zone play was tagged with a bubble. You had a bubble screen attached to every run play because essentially it's a pitch. You're getting somebody on the outside. Not trying to get a home run every time, but when you have numbers like you do here, you got two blockers and on one, it's easy numbers. You're starting to play with.
You got two blockers. You got two guys up. The safety's back. He's 12 yards off the ball.
This corner's going to blitz, and then you're going to have 2-on-3. This is one where it's a well-timed screenplay into this blitz, and you just, Pimpton's pretty upset with this play. When they go back and watch this on film, this should have been a touchdown. But when I say inexperience, he's got to understand that once he blitzes to quit chasing. He's got to go straight to the safety, get on top of him. If he seals that guy off, run it back real quick. Right there.
I'll pause him. I know where you want it. He takes one step, basically, toward the inside.
He's got to realize that that's not his guy anymore. Once he's blitzing, somebody's replacing.
When they say little things, and it drives people that are just watching the press conference, it's just the little things. What do you mean the little thing? That one
step's a little thing right there because he chases. You got to understand that when a blitzer comes, there's somebody replacing it. Nobody blitzes to leave you wide open. When you blitz, the safety's coming down to replace it. He's got to understand the situation. Once he blitzes, that's no longer my guy. The quarterback's got to beat him with the throw and work straight up to the safety. So if you hit pause right here, you're going to tell me Aaron Anderson in that situation with a safety on the other side of the hash, that should be a touchdown. But because he was late to his block, now he's lunging, he's getting out over his feet. He misses this block that could have been a big play. It's now just a 7-yard gain.
That's the little things. Difference between 7 and what would have been probably about 60 or more. All right, this next play we're going to look at is another good run for Josh Williams. He's in this highlight. This isn't a highlight film, but he's in our film study a lot this week for a reason.
Yeah, and just the way he fought, I think that this was a big game for him to go out there and really carry this team when you talk about leadership. A lot of these plays I put in because I saw Mubanga make a good block. This is one of Chester's better block. He gets up on the second level, doesn't get off of him. And this is ones where I'm seeing these freshman guys that we've kind of beat up on the last few weeks started to make some plays in this game.
Let's watch 79 and 65 right there in that offensive middle. Yeah.
So Chester has a good block on this one. Mubanga lets the guy slip off. If you really watch this, man, this is close to hitting a home run on a dive play. If Mubanga keeps him sealed right there, he probably slips through there and got to beat an arm tackle from line. He's got to get his arm or his head around. But there's little things. He's doing a little.
I want to look at this again from the tight cut because
it's close to a touchdown.
Yeah.
Man. Chester gets up on it. If you hit pause right here, if he stays sealed off like that, keeps the inside leverage and keeps pressing, Williams probably gets through there. 20 ends up making the tackle. He gets slowed down by the D tackle. But this is one where Chester got to the second level. He struggled this year getting it there. And so I wanted to show that he's making improvement. Mubanga at least maintains contact right here. I'd like to see him fight that inside shoulder and press it, and it's probably a bigger play.
Hat on a hat anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that we saw getting better from these young offensive linemen.
We're brought to you by Bayou Apparel, helping local businesses communicate their message since 2009. As one of only a few local LSU official licensees, Bayou Apparel offers the highest quality products to showcase your brand, whether it's an established one or a new one. Bayou Apparel design experts can help you create eye-catching designs that fit your company's message. They do logos, event T-shirts, and promotional items for your business. Call 225-928-9090 or go to the website at bayouapparel.com. This one is a sack by Sean Washington, Braden Swinson. Diego Pavia is sacked. This is all the way back to the Vanderbilt 26-yard line. LSU holding a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter at this point.
Yeah, and this is really, Savion Jones makes this play. He gets good pressure off the left side. And why I wanted to, highlight this, Sean Washington does a great job maintaining his hands and two-gapping it, playing both sides of him. Doesn't allow him to get sealed and escape for a big play.
All right, let's watch this from the wide-angle view. Washington is a defensive tackle on the right side, 95.
Savion blows it up right here, but the way he plays both sides of the guy. We've seen a lot of times where the D tackles get sealed in, they're peeking, they don't get around, don't get off of him. He plays real well with his hands, sheds the guy off to the outside, and makes a sack right there with Swinson crashing down from the backside.
One of the ones we didn't, I wanted to ask you about was the fake punt. We don't have it in film study, but we saw this. It was a 4th and 9 in the fourth quarter. They're down 2 scores. It was deep in Vanderbilt territory, but they weren't aware of that. They kind of got caught sleeping a little bit on the fake punt.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there was no check safe. There was no awareness that there might be a possibility of a fake because everybody turns their heads, they're running down, they're getting in they're blocking lanes. That's just one that they got caught sleeping. It wasn't something that the coaches awared them to. Usually, in certain situations, punt return right, safe. Somebody keep their eyes on the punter, somebody keep their head turned around, and obviously in that situation, everybody ran down the field.
Special teams were a problem for a lot of people this weekend, even on a professional level. If you watch Dallas and Washington,
yeah.
So it's not just you, okay?
Washington kicks a extra point, might be a little bit better of a game.
Somewhere John Corney was watching that and just went, "Oof, man, I know what that feels like." We're brought to you by the law offices of O.C. Brown. Dana Brown, who we've known for a long time, and his family-owned law firm have helped us with a number of our legal needs. Your first consultation is always free. If you've been in a car accident, if you have other legal services that you're in need of, it should be your first and only call. Your law firm for a lifetime at 343-1111 or on the web at ocbrown.com, OSSIABrown.com, and right down the street from the law offices of O.C. Brown. Town Square Pizza, the newest pizzeria in downtown Baton Rouge. Big, generous portions made from scratch, but also in a timely manner. So if you're working downtown, you got a limited amount of time for lunch. Get in, get your hot, delicious square pizza from Town Square Pizza. You're probably going to have enough to take a little home for later. Town Square Pizza, downtown Baton Rouge. Final play we're going to show you is Garrett Nussmeyer completing a ball to Kyron Lacey. This is for 21 yards up to the LSU 46, and this was what got the drive kick-started. LSU, Les would have been proud, okay? Took the ball with 5:47 to go with the lead and never gave the ball back. Now, unlike Les, they didn't run the ball every time. They had a good mix on this drive. But this one was the one that got it kicked off.
No, they controlled the clock in the fourth quarter with the lead, and that's all you can ask for them. But this is another one of the plays that Garrett Nussmeier makes a great throw, gets him crossing. Williams gets beat right here, but 65, another improvement play by Paul Mubenga, probably one of his best pass blocking rushes, pass blocking attempts that I've seen. I just really wanted to highlight some of the things he was doing because we've been hard on the last few weeks, but this is a game where you saw him start doing things better each snap.
All right, let's watch. 65 is the left guard here.
And this is a guy that has struggled in pass protection, struggled in run protection, but things are slowing down for him. I mean, look, this is a great block. He's head up on him. He maintains him, gets good feet or hands inside, keeps leverage. He doesn't get a push.
This is a long route. I mean, Nussmeier's back there. We can put the clock on him here, but this is
a long developing play.
Yeah, he needed all of this time to get it done.
And I think he probably works the left side if Williams gets his block right there. You might be able to see it from here. I think it's CJ comes across. This is another. They're going to run a slot fade, and CJ's probably open for a big play right here. But because the linebacker comes up, it works him back right.
Telling you, man, if Paul Mubenga is an all-conference player, as an upperclassman, we're going to say, hey, we knew that guy back when he was learning the position.
We saw a 4-game stretch where he got better each week.
Better each week. That's good to hear. Rich, they needed they needed this. They needed something good to happen to him. It did. You got a chance to finish off the season on a good note. Oklahoma had a big win this past week against Alabama, so we'll see what's going to happen in that game. But mostly, I was impressed that they stayed focused. They came in this game, matched the intensity level of Vanderbilt, and even after they got popped right there in the mouth there at the beginning of the game, they stayed in it.
Man, this would have been an easy one to quit on if you didn't have that leadership in your locker room. If the things were as much array as people thought they were outside the program, because when you start off and you have a 3-and-out with a penalty, you get a first play bomb for a touchdown. The special teams gets blown up on the next one. I mean, things were going negative so fast that it showed that these guys were bought in, were willing to fight for each other and correct the path.
Crowd was good too.
Yeah.
We didn't know what kind of crowd are you going to get for this to come back. It was pretty good. Weather helped, I think.
Beautiful
a lot of people went out, wanted to enjoy the weather, and went to the ball game and stayed. This crowd. This was a one-score game in the fourth quarter. They stayed. They were loud. It was good. Hope they show up again this weekend. I think they will. Bring a jacket this time. Maybe even a little bit bigger of a jacket. All right. Thanks to everybody for participating with us here this week. We'll be back next week to break down the film on Oklahoma for the final regular season game of the season. For Richard Dickson, I'm Charles Hannigriff, and this has been the Hannycast.